On the morning of October the 4th, 2004, Rachel Reilly was found dead in her home in Knoll, County Dublin. She lived here with her husband Joe and her 2 sons. The crime scene was horrific, and police soon realised that this was a murder, and the investigation began. Joe and Rachel, they had a happy marriage. Joe worked while Rachel stayed at home looking after the kids. But after a while, Joe became distant, and the couple, they began to drift apart. And in 2004, an anonymous letter was sent to Child Protective Services, and they accused Rachel of neglecting her 2 kids. And when an investigation opened, it was found to be untrue, and it gave Rachel second thoughts on the care she was giving her kids. As time went on, Rachel found out Joe was cheating on her with a work colleague, and her name is Nikki, and the affair lasted around 9 months. Joe would say to Nikki that he loved her, and wanted to divorce his wife Rachel and start a new life with her and his 2 kids, to which Nikki gave him an ultimatum. She said if he wanted to continue seeing her, he would have to divorce his wife by November 2004, but divorce didn't suit Joe. He knew the kids would stay with their mother, and he would only see his kids on the weekends. Joe would be the one behind the anonymous letter to Child Protective Services. You see, he was trying to convince them and the world that Rachel was a bad mother to his kids, but his plan failed. So Joe proceeded to plan the murder of his wife. Joe waited in his house for his wife to enter, and he murdered her in cold blood with several blows of a heavy object to the head. Joe staged a robbery in the house, and before this, he would create an alibi of him. And the alibi was him being on a work outing, which was confirmed to be true by work colleagues. When Joe was informed the kids were not collected by Rachel that day, he called his mother-in-law Rose, and he asked her to check on Rachel, knowing what she would walk into. Throughout the investigation, Joe actively shared information with reporters of what had happened and what he thought happened. He would do numerous interviews and would be invited onto Ireland's most popular late night talk show, The Late Late Show, along with other talk shows where he spoke on what happened that day. This interview on The Late Late Show was with Joe and Rachel's mum Rose. Joe was talking and Rachel's mum is sitting there silent, and she describes after it what she thought in the moment of the interview.
The situation you both found in the house, I mean, did you get the sense that she'd been taken unawares, that this was someone that perhaps she trusted
Yeah, I think so. Where the murder happened was in the bedroom, which is the very last room of the house. So it's the room where you're least likely to bring someone you don't know because you're cornered. My view as well would be, and again it's just my view, it's not a police theory, it's just my own personal belief, is that she knew the person, because why else would you kill her? If it's a violent robbery, why go to the extreme of murdering the person unless they can identify you? And that's why we've talked about this and practically nothing else for the last 3 weeks. We just feel it's someone she would have known or someone she could have identified.
So that was 3 weeks after Rachel was murdered. Did you know sitting there that you were sitting beside her killer?
Yes, I definitely knew. I knew a little over a week after, 2 days after Rachel was buried. The following day, Rachel was buried on a Monday. On the Tuesday, the detectives told Joe they'd meet him at the house and give him the keys back, and if he could tell them what he felt was stolen or that from the house. And he rang us that night and invited us down. He said he was going down to the house the next day, and he felt so great after it. He thought it would do us good
to go back
back to the house. So I said to Jim, it's the last place I'll ever go to again. So, cutting a long story short, Jim said to me, just try it, he said, it might work. But I walked out of the house knowing without a shadow of a doubt in my mind that he had murdered Rachel.
Things started to fall apart for Joe. His colleague Derek, the one who confirmed he was at work, and his mistress Nikki were both threatened with prosecution for false testimonies. Derek would then admit he could not confirm with certainty that Joe was on work business at the bus depot on the morning of October the 4th, 2004. and Nicky then admitted that Joe once said if he wanted to get rid of Rachel, he could avoid being caught, and she didn't realise at the time that this would be significant. This in turn led to Joe's mobile phone being tracked on the day of the murder, and Joe's phone was recorded at the couple's home when the murder took place. CCTV would also capture a car matching Joe's passing near the house 2 times. And with this knowledge, on October the 20th, 2006, Joe was arrested and charged with the murder of his wife Rachel. Joe was then sentenced to life in prison, where he remains to this day. On the 24th of March 2017, in a small seaside town in County Cork, Ireland, Richard Satchwell reported his wife Tina Satchwell missing after she failed to return home on the 20th of March after he went to the shops. When Richard came back from the shops that afternoon, he found Tina's house keys were there, but she wasn't. 2 suitcases were missing along with $26,000 in cash, an amount gained from a sale of a house. He reported her missing 4 days after she actually went missing. He said to police he thought she was staying with family in the UK, a statement Tina's family always denied. Tina was last seen by the public on the afternoon of the 19th, and that was with Richard at a car boot sale. But after that, Richard was the only person who seen her. The Gardaí would check the ports in the UK and Ireland, and Tina would never pass through either of them, and they believed she never left Ireland. Richard and Tina met in the UK in 1990, when Tina was over staying with family. The couple moved over to Cork, where they settled down, and would remain until Tina's disappearance. Now, following after Tina's disappearance, an investigation was opened, but nothing of substance in the case would be found. Richard would appear on numerous TV stations and radio stations, doing interviews about what he thought happened to his wife. He claimed he was innocent, and he even agreed to doing a lie detector, which he would later refuse to do.
I just can't go on not knowing. Even if you just ring the guards, let people know that you're alright.
My house was searched without my knowledge. And the Gardaí didn't find anything to suggest anything untoward. I live on a main street, so my coming and going's a scene. So, you know, I don't know why people are being so malicious.
Are you an innocent man?
I am. I'm innocent. I'm innocent of any wrongdoing.
There's one interview in particular he done on Cork's redfm. The interviewer could see right through Richard, and he put questions to Richard that he could not answer. There was red flags throughout the whole interview.
Because you said on CRY-FM that that she did hit you in the past, that there were fights and that there were arguments. I'm not saying that she was an abusive partner.
Tina was one of these. No, she's a great woman. I have not got a bad word to say about her.
But then you said that. But then you said that she beat you.
But she could have a flash temper. She could be there like, I'd just hit you, and then she'd be crying, apologising. Yeah. That's all it was. Yeah. There was no intent.
Did you ever hit back though? Or?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. The most I've ever done, like I said already, there has been a lot of stuff within the family, and at her worst times, the most I've ever done is holding my arms tight until she's gone down.
You loved the bones off her, things what you said.
She's my life.
I don't know whether anybody ever asked you. She's a very good-looking girl, very stylish. Yeah, very, very stylish. Did you ever feel that that you were punching below your weight with her, and that you were overly protective of her, or that you were controlling?
Well, once again, I'll go back to people who know us. Tina would be always out and about on her own. Tina's not the type of personality to let anybody tell her what to do or control her.
Mm.
It's just not her.
In the sense that you weren't jealous of her, or jealous of other people talking to her? Or
no, never. And nobody can ever say I was.
Yeah, I know.
Because, like, often if I was out and about, and I seen something in the shop window that I knew would be Tina's style. It wouldn't matter how sexy it would be or anything like that, I'd buy it.
You'd buy it. Yeah. You liked her to look well.
Oh yeah, that's, you know, so I suppose some people can say, oh, she's a trophy wife. When you got somebody that beautiful on your arm, you know, naturally to make you look good.
Well, you have somebody that beautiful on your arm, you described her as a trophy wife, and then say, for instance, she doesn't want to be on your arm anymore. How do you react to that, you know?
Well, that's not a conversation that we ever had in such as, oh, you know, I don't want you anymore. That's never been...
No, but she did say, if I leave, if I ever go and you come after me, I'll go to the guards.
Yeah.
That's another bizarre statement to make on top of the statement about, I love Richard, I would never do anything to hurt him. There was something going on there.
It wouldn't be until the 10th of October 2023 when Gardaí would have a breakthrough. Tina Satchwell's disappearance was changed to a murder investigation when a truck driver in his 50s was arrested on suspicion of murder. The truck driver was identified as Richard Satchwell, Tina's husband. Human remains were discovered at the house of the couple when a renovation was taking place in the next door neighbour's house, and the workers found something suspect in the drainage system, which led to the tip.
Bunches of flowers lay outside the house where Tina Satchwell once lived with her husband Richard. Her skeletal remains were found under 3 feet of concrete, as well as inside a plastered wall under a stairwell. Today, locals in Youghal said her mysterious disappearance and the circumstances surrounding her death have left them feeling extremely hurt.
Glad and sad. They're glad that she was found, you know, but they're very sad really, you know, and there was an awful eerie feeling there around last night and today as well, I think, you know.
And on the 14th of October 2023, Richard Satchwell was charged with the murder of Tina Satchwell. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.